皆さん、こんにちは。カルロさん
はい。
です。
皆さん、こんにちは。あやかです。
うん、
soy あや
今日、
か。
sorry, I'm Carlos.
Yes.
Because in this
今
episode,
日、
it's in English.
yeah, our first English episode. う
But
ん。
before
今
that, 今日はト
日、うん。
ピックは何ですか？
今日のトピックは、何でしたっけ？
あー、あ、I don't know how to say that in Japanese.
pros and cons. いいところと悪いところ。
あ、OK, OK.
It sounds so basic. I don't know.
でも、
うんプロセン
前、
うん。
前それ、
前それ
元気ですか？
その前に、元気ですか？いい点と悪い点。いや、This one sounds more advanced. いい点と悪い点について話しましょう。
話しましょう。今日は何を食べますか？食べまし
あ、なに、
たか？
今日は、えートマトと卵と、えーオートミールと、
おー。
うん
うん、卵とトマト。うん、に、日本の食べ物ですか？
違います。日本の食べ物じゃないですね。
うん、うん、うん。
うん、ゆで卵
ゆで卵。
とトマト、サラダ食べました。
うん、うん、うん。うん。
はい。カルロ
そっか。
スさんは何を食べましたか？
今日はパンケーキを食べました。
Today's episode is gonna be in English, and it's so weird for me because,
In the last episode, you said you hate English,
yeah,
and here
and
we
I don't
are.
really like, yeah, here we are. Because, um, because I don't really like my personality that I have when I speak English.
Oh, I hope my personality is, you know, still the same. I
Ah,
think, I don't know, just my voice change
it
because many
sounds
people
so
says
weird
that.
to me.
Yeah. So what is the topic for today? I know it's something related to being a teacher and I talk it because especially that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
in
so today's topic is pros and cons of being a teacher, being a language teacher, something like that.
yeah. So first of all, you know, we are teachers, especially
Mhm.
Spanish teacher and Japanese teacher.
Yeah,
But
and Carlos teaches English as well.
yes,
FYI.
and I didn't want to say that because if I make mistakes here, many people could say, "Oh no, you make mistakes." But that's okay for me. We are human beings.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, I want to know how do you become a teacher, Ayaka?
Um, well, um, I became teacher like 4 years ago, during pandemic. Um, I was in Japan, and the year before that, I was in Australia, and I went back to Japan. But because of pandemic, we couldn't find, part-time job at restaurants or um, schools and something like that. So I decided to look for a job that I can do online. And I remember that someone in Australia mentioned about italki. So I was like, oh, what is that? And I searched about it, and yeah, they were searching for Japanese teachers, so I applied for it and I passed, and then I became a teacher.
Ah,
And yeah, for 2021 and for 1 year I teach Japanese, and after that I moved to China. So in that job, and they didn't allow me to have side job. So I had to kind of hit a pause. And after that, I came back to Japan and I had no job. So
Wow.
yeah, I decided to go back to Italki.
But
Yeah, that's
that
how
was
I
your
started.
first time being a teacher? I thought like in your
Oh,
life.
no, actually, no. Before that, I used to teach like mathematics and Japanese, English, what else? History, all the subjects at school. In like in Asia, we have school after school. Like I think in English they call it clam school, something cram school, something like
From
that.
school? Okay.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, so in my first year of university, I used to teach students there, and I used to teach all the subjects in middle school. Yeah, that was my first time teaching.
Wow. Teaching like a tutor.
Yeah, like tutor, teaching everything because I was
Wow.
good at
Okay.
studying. So yeah, and in at these schools, they usually pay very well.
Yeah. Especially because the parents or need their kids to be, you know, having the greatest score.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And what about you? How did you start teaching on Italki, or did you used to teach even before that?
I started teaching before that. I
Mm.
think my first encounter with teaching was when I was 16 or 17. I don't
Mm.
remember. And it was about because at that moment I was practicing karate. So
Karate.
I had the brown belt at that time. So in Japanese, I think it's like the senpai one, you know. So I taught kids and they pay me for that. And it was good.
Mm.
And then I became a music teacher, like how to play the guitar for some kids and for some adults. And it was really good. I had fun, but
Mm-hmm.
then the same thing. They pay me as well, but I didn't like it because it was too low. So but it was good. I really like it. And then I think I taught history, literature, language in some schools because they hired me. And it was really good as well. I think because I really love teaching something. I don't know why,
Mm-hmm.
but in one way or another, in the pandemic, we need some money because we were locked down. And then I found Italki, but I found as a student because I wanted to learn
Ah.
English first because I didn't know English at the moment. Then I realized that I could make some money with Italki, being a teacher, being a Spanish teacher. And they say, why not? And I applied for that. I was rejected first because of my
Me
video.
too.
Yeah, it was, yeah, they are very demanding. So I was rejected first, and then I was rejected in the second one, and but I applied the third time, and it was good. I passed, and yeah, it was good. And now
Ah, so
I'm a
you
teacher
have
on italki.
you've always been a teacher of something.
Yes, but I think now it changed. It has changed a lot, because in the past I used to teach kids, adults, but now I
Mm.
prefer only, you know, just to teach adults because I feel more
Oh,
comfortable with that.
okay. And then have you noticed some differences between teaching kids and teaching adults?
Yes, I can make more jokes now. I love making jokes and I love that kind of attention because with kids, apart from that, you need to use more energy. Teaching
Mm.
kids demands a lot of energy. You need to move your body, also body language, and
Mm-hmm.
also prepare more material, dynamic materials. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say that I don't like it, but I think I'm old. And if I'm going to have many students and all of them are kids,
Mm.
I'm gonna be very tired at the end of the day. So I prefer adults because I can make some jokes and they laugh and I laugh and, as well. And they learn laughing. So that's good.
Yeah, and also you can become friends with them, no? If you are teaching adults. With friends,
Like you.
it's impossible.
Yeah. That happens many times, you know. Especially when, you know, as you are a teacher in Italki and you know many people around the world. So believe it or not, you have kind of friends with them. You are friends with them. On if you have the opportunity to visit their country, maybe you could say, "Oh, can we bring some coffee?" Or I don't
Mm.
know, but yeah.
And many of your students have already visited you, no? As far as I know, two students. Are there
Well,
many more?
yeah, there are plenty of them. Like I think 10 or 11.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's weird, but not all of them are from Italki because I also
Mm.
teach Spanish like for my own, on my own. They accepted that and they like it, and they say, "Hey, Carlos, I'm in Peru now. I want you to meet you in person if you like the idea, of course." Yeah, and sometimes I accept that. Sometimes no, because I don't feel comfortable.
Oh,
You know when,
I
when
didn't
you
know that.
try
Yeah.
to see the vibes in that person, like I don't like it. I said, "No, thank you. I'm busy."
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe that person is very far away. I don't know. Like, oh, I'm in Cusco now. Wait, I'm not going to visit you. So, yeah, I think that's the idea. And normally I accept
Mm.
that because I like the vibes. Many of my students are really nice.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah, like you know. So yeah, I'm really happy to meet them.
Mm. Okay. Hmm.
What about you? Have you met one of your students?
I think only one student because most of my students are from China, and I think for Chinese people it's a little bit difficult to travel to Japan because they have to get visa, and also there are many requirements, so it's difficult for them to come to visit me. So yeah, and apart from Chinese people, I have students from USA, uh, which makes it even more difficult for them to visit me because it's very far away. So I only met one student from China when I was working in China.
Oh,
Yeah. Um, I think during like their national holiday, I went to Shanghai, which is
another
located
city.
in south, yeah, south in China. And my student lives in Hangzhou, which is next to Shanghai. So I also visited his city, and then yeah, we catch up, and I think we travel together to some places together. Yeah, other than that, I don't remember. Yeah, only him.
Oh, okay. And now that you're a teacher, apart from being a teacher on italki, the only being a teacher, how do you feel about that?
How do I feel about
Being a teacher, not only on italki,
being a
just
teacher?
just being a teacher itself.
Oh, well, I think I'm really good at teaching. Yeah. Um, well, especially because when I teach languages, because I am also me myself is also a language learner, so I can understand their struggles, and also I'm more patient. Yeah, and I really love teaching because I love to see people make progress and then help them achieve their goals. And yeah. Competition in China is so heavy. So they try to find other countries to study, and Japan is cheap and also close to China. So a lot of students are learning Japanese and to enter university or art school or fashion school, something like that. So their goals is to study in Japan. So once they
Oh,
got accepted, they don't have to study Japanese anymore because they are going to move to Japan. They are going to live in Japan. And, naturally they will pick up Japanese. So after, you know, getting accepted by the school, they will just disappear. That's kind of sad
oh.
for me, but I'm also happy
But they
that
don't
they have,
say, "Oh,
yeah,
sorry, Ayaka. That kind of lesson needs to be finished." They just disappeared.
yeah, they just disappear.
Oh, well, it happens many times, you know. And sometimes they say something like, "Sorry, Carlos, I'm gonna do that thing." So they don't say, "I don't need your lessons anymore," but they say like, "I think that's the farewell. So thank you for everything.
Mm.
Bye bye." I say, "Okay, goodbye."
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. For me, I think only one student have greeted me. He's from UK. He was studying Japanese for, preparing for travel to Japan. So we have studied together like 2 or 3 months, and after that, he traveled to Japan. So he said like, "Oh, thank you for teaching me Japanese. It was so useful. I'm enjoying Japan. Blah blah blah." And yeah, he sent me some pictures and tell me goodbye.
Ah, that's good. Um, Now that we say your background story about teaching, how do you become a teacher? Uh, what kind of teacher are you?
I have no idea. I think I I don't consider myself as a teacher. Like when I am teaching, I'm like just one of their friends. I try to be like a friend, one of their friends, because I feel like if you are talking to your teacher, you get nervous and you are
Mm,
afraid of making mistakes, etc. So um, I try not to give them pressure, and also try to I always correct their mistakes, but in a very gentle way, you know, in a very friendly way. So yeah, I think I'm more of a friend
then a teacher.
rather than a teacher. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Um, for example,
Oh.
I know
Mhm.
that you're Japanese and you teach Japanese,
Mhm.
but do you think making mistakes as a teacher is good, but it's normal? For
Ah.
example, when I teach Spanish, sometimes I
Uh-huh.
make mistakes. And I
Ah.
say, okay, it's normal, but I need to do something about that, obviously, because if I make mistakes, my students will make it, of course, you know. But I don't consider like this is bad. I think it's normal because I don't know if you noticed that now you're in Peru, some people, native speaker, speaks Spanish badly or
Yeah.
grammarly incorrect.
Comistes.
Yeah, you know, we say that, and it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that as a teacher, we need to learn from our mistakes, and that is
Mm.
good. But I don't see as a bad thing. I think it's normal because we're human beings and we can make mistakes.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think, yeah, native speakers also make a lot of mistakes, and I guess it's normal. And well, if I make mistake, I will try to correct myself, but also tell my students that native speaker would say like this, but it's grammatically incorrect, but we would talk like this. So it's your choice to, choose if you want to speak grammatically correct 100% all the time, or if you want to sound more like a native speaker. And so, yeah, I will correct myself, but also let my students decide
Mm,
how they want to learn Japanese.
yes, of course. In your future, what do you expect about your teaching life? Do you think you're going to continue to teach Japanese, or at some point you're going to stop doing it?
Well, I think I don't see myself teaching Japanese for the rest of my life. I think at some point I will have to stop teaching because I'm passionate about so many things. So, yeah, right now actually teaching Japanese and takes a lot of time from my life. And I have to, not only in the lesson, but also I have to, prepare for the classes and prepare some materials. And also, as a teacher, I have to, sometimes study Japanese, how the grammar works, or I have to, find some materials for my students. And find conversation topics, something like that. So it takes a lot of time. So I think in the future, I would love to find another job that, um,
But what kind of job? Like very similar about teaching or totally different?
that's a good question. I'm not sure. I don't really know what I want to do in the future at the moment. But I think I want to do something that I can help people, you know?
Hmm. Okay, but it's kind of similar, like helping people
Yeah, kind
to.
of similar. And what about you? Do you think you will be teaching Spanish and English for the rest of your life? Or are you going to
If you put it in
do?
that way, sounds like bad for my rest of my life. But I think I love teaching, and if I don't teach Spanish or English, because I
Mhm.
want to teach Japanese in the future.
Oh,
But
you're
it
ambitious.
probably takes like 5 years or 6 years.
It depends. I think because um something that I have noticed is that for Spanish speakers, it's very difficult to learn Japanese because it's totally different and very,
Yes.
grammatically and also words. Everything is very different from Spanish. So not many people have high level of Japanese, and so they can teach Japanese at their N4 and 3 levels.
Mm.
So you're seems like you're a quick learner, so maybe in 2 years, 3 years, you will be already teaching Japanese.
No,
No,
Because when I teach something, I try to be,
perfect.
well,
Or
yeah, I don't know. Like, when I was learning English, I wanted to be the best teacher. That's why I took many international exams and then a course for teaching. And to be honest, nowadays, I don't use it. Like the things that I learned from those courses, but some things because are really important, and I learned from that experience. But the thing is, like nowadays, it's like I don't want to be the best teacher, but I want to be the teacher that I needed when I was a student.
oh,
You know,
okay, yeah.
because I really love learning something. And if you cheer me up or do something about it, the way that I'm teaching is the way that I would like, or I would have liked to be taught.
Mm.
With jokes, with making someone happy. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need
Mm-hmm.
to be perfect in your English or in your Spanish. I want you to have fun. And if I because I think if you understand my jokes in Spanish or in English, and you having fun with that, it's because your Spanish or your English is really, really good. So that's my way to teach something.
Ah, that's why you always teach me jokes.
Yes, and you understand now. Sometimes, I think I told you sometimes like subjunctive because you
Mm-hmm.
wanted to. And of course, if
Mm-hmm.
you ask me for doing that, I'm gonna prepare something really, really
Mm.
seriously. But if you ask me like, oh, colors, do whatever you want, um, I'm not going to say I'm your slave, but I I follow you,
Mhm.
because I believe in you. So I say, oh, thank you. So that's the thing.
What do you think are the pros and cons of being a teacher, being a language teacher?
Mm, I think something that I've noticed is a random thing, but it's about
Mm.
our voice. I don't know if you
Our
notice
voice.
that, but
Mm-hmm.
when for example, when I teach Spanish, I try to speak slow or
Mm-hmm.
clearly, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't usually speak like that in my daily life. And
Yeah.
sometimes when I
Exactly.
work like for many hours, and then
Mm.
I have a meeting with my friends, they say, Carlos, why are you so slow? Are you retired? I said, no, no, sorry.
Oh,
And that
that's
happens
interesting.
sometimes.
For me, it doesn't happen a lot because when I teach, I speak like, I use Tokyo accent, like standard Japanese, and also I use keigo, which is very, very formal way. So when I talk to my friends, I only talk in Kansai Ben, Kansai dialect. So it's like for me, it's like totally different two languages. Yeah.
Oh,
Ah, okay.
but yeah, I think that is one of the cons. It's not a great con, but it's a good one. And the other thing, it's like, well, if I teach Spanish and English, sometimes I have like 4 hours of teaching the Spanish and then
Hmm.
2 hours of teaching English. Uh, I mix the languages sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And I hate that. And
Understand.
now I hate because sometimes when I'm teaching English in when I'm teaching English in English, of course,
Mm.
I say baga like Japanese. And one of my students noticed that and she was like making jokes about that. So yeah, I hate that. Also,
Okay, okay.
sometimes I don't know what kind of lesson I'm teaching, so I start like, "Hola," but and it's an English lesson.
Ah,
And they
yeah.
say, "What?" Say, "Oh, sorry, hello," because I'm really tired. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I can relate to that because I also I only teach Japanese, but I with my student whose levels are like beginner level, I have to speak in either English or Spanish or Chinese. So sometimes I don't remember if I have to talk to them in Chinese or English or Spanish, and it's very confusing because some of my students are multilingual, so and they are like, for example, she one of my student is Chinese, but she lives in Spain, so she wants to talk to me in Spanish, but I teach Japanese. For me, it's one of the cons is that you have to always show up, like no matter what. For example, I see a lot of my friends who work at company. They can, sometimes do like home office. They can work remotely, and they don't need to show their face when they are in meeting. They just join to the Zoom meeting and they don't even turn on the camera, and they just listen to the meeting. So sometimes it's difficult for me when I am feeling sad or when I am feeling really tired. And no matter what, I have to always show up and encourage my students, listen to them, and also be patient always. And,
Yeah.
and I have to smile more than
Yes.
normal. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's true. I think even even that you need to, well, you are forced to be happy sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to be sad because that is
Hi,
very
how are you?
noticeable.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yes. Even if shit happened in your life, you need to be
Pretend
happy.
like nothing. Yeah.
Nothing happens and you have a
Mm-hmm.
perfect life. Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
happens to me. Like, sometimes I turn on the camera. I said, hello, how are you? And then I turn off. It's like,
Ugh.
I'm gonna cry. Yeah, it happens. And it's normal, because as a teachers, we don't need to show our real emotions sometimes,
Mhm.
especially the the sad one or the angry one. You need to be happy and
Always.
yes, and always smile. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm,
Oh.
hmm, hmm.
And what are the pros of being a teacher,
I think there are
a language
the
teacher?
pros outweigh the cons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can meet many people around the world. One of them is that. And also, I think when I teach something, I learn more.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
that is so
think,
true.
like when I teach English, sometimes I forget any specific topic about English or any grammar topic. But then when my student needs to study that part of that topic, I say, okay, I need to study before that. I need to know that perfectly in order to teach them. So if you do it many times, you're going to remember it and you're going to perfect that topic. That's why I learn a lot of vocabulary. Yes, some words that I usually hate or I don't usually use, but my students say, "Oh, teacher, I want to pass the B2 level of Cambridge." I say, "Why?" But it's a joke, obviously. But in my mind, say, oh, "Okay, I need to study more words, vocabulary, a specific vocabulary for that." And I remember one of them says, Carlos, I need to pass a C1 level. And I said, are you sure? Because I passed that. It's not necessary. I said, please. I said, ah, okay. I need to study. I said, okay, I need to review that topic and to review that vocabulary like promenade or chauvinistic or patriotism, those kind of words that you don't usually talk
Ah.
about that but you can see on in some old series or old books. You need to study that. In some way, uh, it's in your mind now.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's so true. Have you heard of the theory of, I don't remember the name. Like when you learn something, if you just read book, you only understand like 10%, something like that. And when you um watch video, something like that, is blah blah percent. And when you actually teach someone something something that you learned, that's where you fully understand what you learned.
Hmm.
I
Yes,
don't
that's true.
remember the name of the theory.
Yeah, there is a
Mm.
teaching. There are many teaching things, right?
Mhm.
So one of the fronts is that you learn more, and also, I love that, especially when my students are located around the world, because I really learn from their lives, their experiences. For example, when I ask you, oh, Ayaka, this is my first time traveling. I don't know
Oh
what to
yeah.
do, and you guys
Can I
helped
book
me.
this one?
Yes, you guys helped me a lot because I don't know, I'm still nervous, even though I pay for that. I already pay for that. This is my ticket. They say, oh
Is
no,
this airline safe?
yeah, airline is safe, and you said maybe. Yeah, yeah, you help me a lot. Sometimes when I have problems, I think one of my students that they've that person has more than 3 years with me learning
Hmm.
Spanish.
Hmm.
Um, he- he's like a friend now. He insulted me sometimes because now he understands my jokes. I think he's really advanced now. but he also has problems. And I think I don't think it's as a pro or as a con, but we help our students emotionally sometimes.
Mm.
We listen to them, their problems or their achievements. Some
Mm.
of them said, "Oh, Carlos, I bought my house." And I say, "Really? I'm
Wow.
very, very happy. Really, you did that. Please give me a tour house. I want you to see your house." I say, "Of course." And they showed me really,
Mm.
really happy, really, really excited. And I was very happy for him. And I told my family, "Oh, guess what? One of my students bought a house, you know."
Wow.
So I'm really excited with their achievements, not only language achievements, but personal
Mm.
achievements.
Personal achievements. Yeah.